To those who don't get drunk, why? Why not?
I come from a family of alcoholics. I don't drink because I would rather not tempt fate. I figure it's better be safe than sorry.
My paternal side of the family tends to be more functional in their alcoholism than my maternal side, and I'd rather not place my money on which side of the spectrum I'll end up.
Functional alcoholism can sometimes be worse because you have less reason to stop.
Being functional is horrible. No problems with work, family and friends, or the law. The only reason to stop is because you'll drink yourself to death, and that's not a good enough reason.
As the child of functional alcoholics, it does affect family and friends, even if you don't think it does. My parents' drinking doesn't look like a problem from the outside. However, I won't call after dinner because when nobody's looking, they privately drink to excess every night. I loathe staying over because evening conversations become pointless or combative because they can't get through a single night without opening a bottle of wine. And instead, I live with the guilt that not visiting them enough brings. But they would never say alcohol is the problem. Therefore, I can never make any kind of plea or intervention to ask them to cut down or seek help. I'm also getting to slowly observe them deteriorate because of it. My mother tells me the same stories twice in the same 10 minutes now. It's sad.
Can't take the hangovers anymore, man. Wastes a whole day afterwards, and you're usually picking up the pieces from the night before anyway, which makes it even worse.
I used to never get hangovers, then I hit like 30 and man, it's the fucking worse and basically don't drink anymore.
Same. In college, used to be able to go out all night, wake up, go to class, work all day, and then be ready to party again at night. Now the hangover starts before I even go to sleep, lol.
Honestly, the hangover starting before bed pisses me off the most.
This is me too. At about 25 or 26, the hangovers just started getting worse and worse, and my alcohol tolerance was so high I could drink enough to get a hangover without ever actually feeling drunk. That was the tipping point to say fuck it to getting drunk anymore.
I don't like the smell, the taste, the feeling, or the hangover.
Once I hit 30, my hangovers became absolutely crippling anxiety attacks that lasted for days. It's just not worth it.
I like how everyone on Reddit acts like you're pretty much dead when you hit 30 years old.
Just turned 43 going strong, but I stopped drinking to get drunk a decade ago. Just the odd beer for me now. Hell, 17-year-old me would look at the cool shit I do and be stoked that is where my life was headed. Only thing is, I am normally in bed by 10 now, but up at 6. Go figure.
Youth is wasted on the young.
This is my favorite quote, statement, whatever. I'm 44. I've been a firefighter for almost 20 years, and I've treated my body like a carnival ride. I partied my ass off all through my 20s and early 30s. Now I hike and canoe. I have land in the Ozarks I want to build a cabin on. I'm a woodworker, and I fix things like my vehicles and my house. But I have 2 bulging discs. My knee hurts, my shoulder hurts, and I have plantar fasciitis in my feet. I had a blast when I was younger, but now I feel like I'm ready to be the dude I wanted to be, but everything hurts.
Yeah, I was a drunk for many years. We're talking every day, and, well, it gets old after a while, and when you quit doing that drinking, then you feel what I feel better, and then you don't want it no more.
It turned into a habit, and I needed more each night to achieve results. Eventually, I got so burnt out, so bored, so mad at my spending. I just did not want to do it anymore. This was very, very recent that I hit my wall. So far, it's going okay.
I have a nightmare that my kid needs me, and I'm unable to respond due to drunkenness.
I watched a film in Driver's Education about a drunk father who ran over his own kid on Halloween night. It terrified me.
In grade 9, we visited the rehab center of the local hospital, and some of the patients there came to talk to us. If you want to traumatize a bunch of teenagers away from drinking and driving, that's way more effective than a bunch of statistics.
Or have a family member die by a DD. My great-aunt and her son were in a big-ass Chrysler, one of those grandma tanks, and they were sitting at a stoplight. What killed her is when the DD, who was a 5th-time offender and 8 times the legal limit at 6 a.m., hit them. The trunk of the car hit her in the back of the head. It wasn't instant, but she never woke up. He still blames himself. I'll have a drink now and again, but never more than one. And when I do, I don't drive at all.
This terrifies me. We go on vacation every year in a very remote location with family, and everyone drinks from morning to night. Working in healthcare for over 10 years, I can't help but think, an ambulance would take roughly an hour to get here. What if we don't have what we need to fix a situation and needed to drive, but everyone was long past that point? What would happen then? I also grew up with alcoholic family members, which turned me off from it. And the third nail in the coffin, it doesn't matter what I drink, beer, wine, cooler, mixed, etc. Whether I have 1 sip or 8 drinks, I will be absolutely wrecked with nausea and feel like complete garbage for 2 days after. Just not worth it to me.
I spent my 20s drunk. That was enough.
I woke up in an orchard in another state wearing someone else's clothes. I started the night at a fair rodeo in my hometown. I had to walk around until I found a gas station and found out where the fuck I was. I missed a few days of work and rent that month, and that still wasn't my wake-up call. I just got old and boring eventually. People in their 20s are so goddamn dumb.
Sometimes, when I think about some of the dumb shit I did in my 20s, I'm shocked I made it through unscathed. I like being in control.
Exactly. The idea of not being in full control of my actions terrifies me. People say your inner drunk is an unfiltered version of you, but my personal walls are part of what makes me me. Take those away, and that's not me anymore.
I'm terrified of my unfiltered self. That person is an angry addict. I've spent years working to become better. I don't want to ever go back to that.
Unfiltered or true self for being drunk is a load of crap. Your true self is when you're sober.
Plus, my drunk self doesn't even speak my unfiltered truth. I'll say random nonsense that I don't actually think or believe. Drunkenness. Honesty is bullshit. One time I broke down crying in a bar because they didn't serve Jamesons. I've never even tried it. My real self wouldn't be upset or even disappointed.
Was beaten by a drunk as a child. My mother almost died in a drunk driving accident, and I was the sole survivor of a wreck that killed my 2 friends. I hate alcohol with a passion.
Alcohol is an absolute monster. It destroys people and wants to see them dead and miserable.
I'm of the belief that alcohol is the single deadliest invention in human history.
I hate the taste of alcohol, and I don't particularly enjoy the feeling of being drunk either.
It's funny. The way some people dislike the feeling of being drunk is the way I hate the feeling of being stoned. I feel like I'm trapped inside a body I can't control anymore.
It's the same for me. I don't like being stoned either. I once saw this interview with the late James Randi, who I really loved, and he mentioned that he never drinks or takes any kind of drugs. When the interviewer asked him why, Randi said something like, "I don't understand why people enjoy clouding their mind. I feel best when I'm in full possession of my rationality and my critical thinking skills." Unfortunately, I don't remember the exact words, but it was something like this, and I remember thinking to myself, holy shit, that's such a good answer. That's exactly how I feel too.
I'm on antidepressants, and when I get drunk, I want to die for the next 3 business days. Hi all. I received a message from Reddit Care Resources saying a concerned Redditor reached out concerned about my comment. This was mostly a joke, and I am doing just fine. I am mentally ill. Yes, it's the middle of my worst season, winter in the prairies, but I am thankfully and gratefully taking medication. Sertraline gang, anyone? Basically, I'm on an SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. I've been on them for 3 years, and they very much saved my life in the pandemic. The point is, there are tons and tons of side effects I experience from drinking, including my sertraline counteracting and increasing my already active anxiety and depression. Not cool. No thanks. If you take any regular and prescription medications and drink alcohol, please do your research on how this can affect your mental health specifically, but physical health too. Days-long anxiety is never worth it.
It just doesn't seem fun. I can have a good time sober, and then drive home and wake up feeling good.
That's my same mindset. I'm kinda at the age where so many people at university are drinking and partying all the time, and it just doesn't appeal to me at all. I tried it, and while getting a bit tipsy while belting out pop classics can be fun, it's not something I would take any further. Getting blackout drunk just frightens me. I don't care if I seem boring. I know how to have fun in lots of other ways. It's not worth the money. When I used to drink, I'd easily spend 5,100 euros a night, only not to remember half of the night anyway.
I stopped drinking over 2 years ago to help support my husband, who is an alcoholic. Me stopping made me realize I had alcoholic tendencies. I come from a family of alcoholics, so this cemented the reason to stop for good. I can hang out with lots of people that drink and still have fun. It's just not for everyone.
No, buddy. The question is, those who do get drunk, why? Alcohol is one of the biggest scams. And drug.
As I got older, the thrill of drinking lessened. The waking up with hangovers was not fun. I was a bartender for 20 years and saw how people acted when they were drunk, and it's not an attractive look. I love waking up with no hangover and feeling good in the morning, and the feeling of being drunk in general is just not pleasurable to me.